Christmas is a time when families get together in their nice warm houses exchanging gifts. 6 months on, that still isn't the case for the residents of the Grenfell Tower. Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Tony Martin, and if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to do that if you want to get involved and have your voice heard and try to make changes in our system. With that said, let's concern ourselves with the residents, or should I say ex-residents, of the tragedy that was Grenfell Tower. Theresa May's promise of housing residents made homeless by the Grenfell fire by saying they will receive an offer of accommodation by Wednesday the 5th of July has somewhat, surprise surprise, fallen short. In an investigation done by the Morning Star, they report that official figures suggest that at least 376 households from the tower and surrounding properties were made homeless, comprising of 857 people. 311 of these households are in bed and breakfast accommodation, and 87 of these households are in temporary accommodation. But by the time the promise was actually made, the actual figures, as told by council officials, were in fact offers of temporary accommodation have been made to only 139 of 158 households. The investigation also revealed confidential correspondence which suggests that fire safety in Kensington and Chelsea properties is still failing to meet current regulations. But back in June, and that isn't so long ago, the government had an estimated bill of more than £600 million for replacing flammable cladding on housing blocks after the Grenfell Tower disaster. They say 60 blocks have so far failed cladding fire safety checks, everyone tested so far, with another astounding 540 still to be looked at. Industry experts told the Telegraph the cost of replacing the cladding on each block would top £1 million, and cost would spiral far higher if residents had to be evacuated during building work. But apparently it is the taxpayer that will face this bill. It will come from the public purse. I say, why aren't the companies that fitted the cheaper, more flammable option after, and in particular Grenfell residents, suggested they didn't want this type of cladding? Could it have possibly been chosen to maximise profits? And do I have to say, there still hasn't, as far as I've seen, no public statement from the companies concerned, and not just some little silly post on the website. I mean faces in front of cameras. Why is the public purse being made accountable for the failings of these companies, and arguably multi-million pound companies? But for me, it seems like the government is dragging its heels on this one. Can they not find the money? Is the bill too much? Well, if you consider what Philip Hammond said in his last budget speech, he reduced the bank levy, a tax on their debts, saving the UK's biggest banks £4.7 billion by 2020, revenue that arguably could have come back to the government. But it's always scratch my back and the Tories will almost certainly scratch yours, so much so that since the 2015 general election, 18.6% of all donations to the party, totalling 8.4 million, have come from hedge funds or people associated, while 6.5% or 2.9 million have come from investment bankers and the finance sector in general. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, the system that is. And again, since the 2015 general election, the biggest hedge fund donor to the Conservatives has been Alexandra Fraser, who gave the party a whopping, mind-blowing £1,137,400 in that period. The former Barings Bank head of brokerage was suddenly elevated to the House of Lords for life by David Cameron in his resignation honours. Of course he was. Nice work if you can get it. David Cameron's back must have been itching like crazy. So are the government going to shell out for the bill for the cladding amounting to 600 million? There are reports that it might even topple the 1 billion. Add to that permanent accommodation for the residents still living in temporary accommodation, And no doubt that figure will be a lot higher. Of course, they will foot the bill from the public purse. Well, I disagree with it slightly, but if the companies aren't being made to step up like they should be, then yes, we have to step up. We have to do something. But the tax levy for banks, after we have bailed them out in the past, well, no, I do not agree with that. The residents of Grenfell, well, in my opinion, they face an uncertain Christmas. They really do. I would hazard a guess they can't put up Christmas decorations in their hotel room or any other temporary accommodation they might well be in. And that's sad, especially if there is children in the family. But as long as we have bankers throwing money at the Conservatives and the Conservatives helping out the bankers, ultimately the wealthy, then the previous things I have mentioned could well go on for some time. But don't mistake me, there is nothing wrong with being wealthy. It's just how you use that wealth that actually matters. How do you feel about the way Grenfell residents have and are being treated? If, by some miracle, you are a banker that is watching this, then by all means, let us know what you think. Don't be afraid. Jump in, get involved, and let's make changes. Let's really do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next video. Bye-bye for now.